Ni hey shadat, shi gotal'ur jate'kara or oyu'baat.
Sukui, I'm Anubis. Welcome to Mando'a for Dikute. If it's your first time listening, I've been studying and working with Mando'a for nearly 10 years. I'm a linguist by hobby, and I'm one of the contributors behind the Mando'a expansion project, which is hosted on mandocreator.com, where you can always find the latest and greatest edition of the Mando'a dictionary. And I'm joined here today, as always, by
Velin, olar. As you all know by now, I'm not really a hobbyist linguist, but I really want to learn Mando'a, and that's why I'm the bane of Anu's existence. So, as always, little disclaimer, the Mando'a dictionary and today's new vocabulary will as always be linked in our description. Something new to plug for me actually today is we set up a Patreon. We finally did it. So if any of you guys is like dini'la enough, crazy enough to support us there, I'll link that in the description too. And of course, you can follow us also on Instagram and YouTube for more content. Speaking of YouTube, as Mando'ade, we don't exactly have guests. We have more like reinforcements. And reinforcing us today is Shoya Haruni from Mandoa Lessons on YouTube. Welcome, olar.
Sukui, cuyir, olar.
So, just tell us a little about what you do on your channel if people don't know you already.
Well, it's right there in the name, you know. Mandoa Lessons. I've been running it, I think, since 2019, just before the Mandalorian show came out. Because, I thought, they're going to have so much Mando'a in this Mandalorian show. So I made a YouTube to teach people about it before it came out. It didn't turn out so well.
Sad.
So it's still kind of a niche community, but got around 4,000 subs, I think.
Very nice.
Yeah, something about that. I was really impressed.
Yeah.
It has its peaks, goes up and down, viewership. But mostly it's surrounded when Mando stuff comes out.
Yep.
So, could be a good year for it, you're saying?
Could be. I joked in the last one of your videos, it was the homework was to say what you were wishing for the next year, and mine was just a single word, at least, in Mando'a, in the Mando and Grogu movie.
Oh, man.
Yeah, fair.
Fair. How low the bar...
Let it be Grogu's first word, even.
How low the bar has become for our expectations.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect a lot of Mando'a, but funnily enough, I actually thought about that the other day. And it was like, yeah, I understand that they don't put a ton in it because people should understand what's going on. But they had at least could have used like something like what or elite. Like it wouldn't be. Yeah. Or at least introducing someone with Sukui. It wouldn't have been that hard. Come on.
Even Fortnite.
Right.
Even Fortnite does that. Like, please.
Yeah.
And it even seemed like when I was watching the scenes between the, in the first season when he goes into the covert and he's talking to the Goran there, the armorer, it seems like they're speaking in Mando'a, but it's been translated to basic because just the word choice they use. I don't know if you've seen it, but I've translated most of the first season, I think.
Yeah.
It's so easy to translate those scenes, specifically those scenes. Other scenes, not so much. But when it's just Mando's talking, they're talking exactly the words that we have in the lexicon.
Yep.
So what you're saying is actually it could be that they first did it and then scratched it?
Yeah.
I get the feeling Dave Filoni was involved. He knows Mando'a exists.
Yeah, of course
So
he
he
does.
probably wanted to do it. But like you say, they need to be able to relate to the character, and they're already separated by a mask, a helmet.
Yeah.
And being a new culture to a lot of people who don't know anything about Mandalorians. So if they did it on top of that, added they're speaking another language, then it's just, okay, this is completely alien, and it's harder for them to relate, I guess.
I know a lot of fairly casual Star Wars fans, and I haven't seen one yet that didn't think it would have been cooler to have them have that all in Mando'a. Same thing for
Right.
really a lot of different movies where there's an actual language involved. Like they want it to feel more real. It helps draw you into the universe more when you have that, because it makes the universe feel more alive. And yeah, I don't know. I guess design by focus group probably killed that.
Yeah, although they're not shying away from it too much nowadays. You have Avatar and the Predator, Disney specifically. I'm talking about. They've been doing it in a number of things, but just differing extents and capacities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Avatar, it has kind of unfortunately fallen off a bit in the later movies, where the first movie had the most, and it's gotten progressively less and less prevalent. It's this latest movie. There's like two sentences. It's pretty bad.
Okay, fair. I haven't seen the most recent one, and I think I fell asleep in the second one. So sorry.
Oh no!
I remember the first one. I liked the first one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I didn't even see the second one, so yeah. But for all you guys that didn't know, Anu is not even not only a Mando'a nerd, but also can speak the Navi stuff. So there you go.
I think for longer too, right?
Yeah, quite a long time.
You did it for longer.
That's what got me started, actually, on the hobbyist linguist journey. Was Navi.
Right.
Yeah. Funny enough.
Yeah, and like you said, you've been in Mando'a for about a decade. You said. I'd say I probably similar. Around 2015 or so, at least.
Easy.
And then it wasn't very popular. There was just the forums around back then. Like, obviously, there were people talking about Mando'a in forums all the way back in 2005, right? So that was nothing new. But forums kind of stopped being a thing around 2015, and then that's when Discord started, being a thing.
Absolutely,
and that's when I mostly got involved.
Yeah, no, like the funny thing is, apart from you guys, but in the same way, I started dabbling in it in 2017, but because there wasn't a lot of resources and there wasn't the new dictionary that's searchable now, I pretty much gave up after choosing a Mando name because I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Yep. That's the story of many people, I would say.
Yeah.
There certainly wasn't a lot of material for people to grab onto back then.
Unfortunately, yeah, but like, speaking of material to grab onto, there's my segue. What you said earlier, to everyone wanted to check Shoya stuff out, I really recommend like the Forge scene in the armory that he translated. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, there's a lot of incredible videos on his channel, I would say. And if you really want to learn how to pronounce Mando'a correctly, Shoya, I don't think it's a stretch to say Shoya has the best video out there for pronunciation help there for pronouncing each letter.
Pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, go check that out. There were actually like four different segue opportunities in the last few things that we said on to multiple different directions. So I'm going to take another one because you talked about choosing your Mando'a name back in the day when there weren't many resources available. And I think that's a perfect time to mention one of the questions that we had from last episode's homework. Somebody asked us, I think it was on Reddit, if that's correct. Yeah. And
I think so, yes.
And this one was there. There were a couple of perfect Mando'a sentences that we got from our comments. This is one of them that I would say is very, very close to perfect. They just added an extra beten in there at the end of the verb when they conjugated it, but otherwise, perfect sentence. Tion gaanade gaise. And that would mean, did you choose your names? And maybe that's not exactly what they intended.
Maybe they wanted to say, how did you choose your names?
Yeah, right. I think Shoya is correct here. They probably meant, how did you choose your names? But it's still a perfect sentence, even if it's not exactly what they intended. And so, yeah, I think it might be fun to talk about how we settled in on the names that we have.
Yeah, why not? Why not? You want to go first, or shall I?
Sure. I'll take it. So, as many people have noticed, my name is essentially just a Swarzified version of Anubis, the Egyptian god of judgment and the guardian of the gateway to the afterlife, basically. And that name actually has a long history to it in my life. It started way back on Halo 1, I would say. Yeah, Halo 1.
Holy
back in
cow.
the day, Halo 1 was the new hotness. And I was playing it at some, I think it was actually at a church where we had like some video games set up.
What?
Yeah, it was like a youth group thing where you could chill with friends and play games at a church. And so it was really cool. And we were playing Halo, and I was, I'm not ashamed to say, quite good with the sniper rifle. And so I was posted up on the middle of the hill on Blood Gulch and just basically spawn killing everyone with the sniper rifle. And someone said that I was the god of death, deciding just who lives and dies on the map, and everyone else was just in my playground. And so I was like, I like that. I'll be the god of death, Anubis. And yeah,
Nice.
so it's stuck ever since.
Funny. See, I didn't think there was much of a background to it. I always just assumed you liked Egyptology or something. So.
Now you know.
Okay. So, but fair enough. So mine is actually pretty funny because my very first Mando name was actually nuhaatyc kyr'am, what is as edgy as it gets, right? So that's for everyone not following. It's actually something like invisible death, basically. Yep. So, but that was like back in the day when I wasn't even a member of the Mercs, now just a recruit. And my actual costume that I have now is my second one. So I wanted to have a new name for that one. And one day it happened that one of our command staff just, for whatever reason, misspelled the German word for fan, which is ventilator. And he mistyped and made it's Velin. And I was like, wait a second. Just space it, throw a bacon in there, and you have a Mando name. Velin. So that's how that came about. I wasn't too big in Mando'a back in the day to figure out that actually the second part, like the last name, would actually work in Mando'a and would mean pretty much as the leader, what makes it even funnier.
I'm a big fan of that story. That's great.
Yeah, so just some big BS there. I think Shoya probably is the only one of us three that has a Mando name that actually means something.
Wouldn't you know it? You are correct. Yeah, mine is it's not my first name that I've had. I've had a number of other ones. But I settled on this one. It's a mutation of shereshir oya'cye, which means to seize life, which is commonly the word, the phrase, shereshir,
Mm-hmm.
but it's specifically the middle syllables there, shereshir, oya'cye, to shereshoya, to shoya.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
Actually fun.
yeah, I just liked to embody that ideal, and making it my name is one way to do that, I guess.
Cool.
That's actually
Yeah.
quite wholesome. So, but Anu, we had a second question, if I...
Yeah, there was another one.
if I'm
There
not
was
mistaken.
another one that was a perfect Mando'a question. So just to highlight that one as well. Well done there. It was Tion-tur gar vin gotal'ur evaar'la besbe'trayce ra beskar'gam. And this one again, it's I guess maybe not exactly perfect, maybe nearly perfect. Super well done. The only thing that I would modify there is just to remove the then prefix because yeah, it's pretty much understood that you're asking about something in the future and you don't really need it. If it could be understood, it's almost always dropped in Mando'a. Why use many word when few word do trick? Anyways, so this would mean when will you make a new guns or like new blasters or armor? And I can answer that pretty effectively now, actually. I am currently working on a new helmet for both myself and nuhaatyc, my little kid. She is going to be hopefully ready to troop with me at the convention I'll be going to in a couple of weeks here. But yeah, really, yeah.
Fantastic.
My helmet will be the same design, but it's time to retire that older one that has developed a few issues. So I'll just be remaking it basically.
If I may be pedantic, you said besbe'trayce as blasters, but actually it's more generic weapons. Blasters would be
that's true.
tracy'uur.
That's true.
Ah,
Yeah.
I live to the day that I see Anu corrected.
Yeah, you've been waiting for that one.
Yeah, I did. So, yeah. But actually, we wanted to point something out that Shoya picked up on. That I made a mistake last episode. Want to go in depth with us on that, Shoya?
Right, sure. I mean, I can go in depth if you want, but the basic is when you're talking about the Death Watch bomber in the Clone Wars episode, he says things like Galhava Bruhun Rausharan, stuff like that. You called it Concordanish at one point, or either you called it Concordanish or you said the person was from Concordia. I can't remember exactly. But then later you said Concordian. So it is, in fact, Concordian. Concordian and Concordanish are two separate things that often get conflated for each other because they have the same name of Concordian sometimes. So it's an understandable mix-up there.
Yeah, I think that one ping-ponged a bit in the canon before finally kind of settling as two different places in current Disney canon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think I mixed it up because you only see Concordia, I think, in Clone Wars.
That's right.
Yeah, and you only see Concord Dawn in the open season comics, and so for some reason I forgot that are two separate things. I can't tell why. So, right. But now we have corrected our mistake. That's actually something that's really important to me. That if we tell you guys oya'cye, if we tell you guys crap, that we correct that when we notice. So then we got that all out of the way.
There was one more thing. This was something that, I realized it shortly after we finished.
Oh,
recording.
yeah, right. Of course, you're right. Yeah.
But Shoya also pointed it out to us in the comments. If you wanted to say
Yeah, of
true
course.
Mandalorians, we were trying to figure out how to say true Mandalorians. And of course, this is a perfect example of translating meaning, not words, which is the advice we give frequently to people who are trying to translate things, getting started in their journey there. And true Mandalorians in Mando'a would be Veman Mando'ade. Veman meaning real or genuine. So if you find yourself stuck, unable to find the exact word when you're searching the dictionary, make sure that you're searching for the meaning of that word and maybe some synonyms for it, as you might just be looking not quite in the right place.
Yeah, as we did last episode. So
Exactly.
I think I read Hard Mando'ade already somewhere, and that's why I was like, yeah, that is it. I didn't think further about it.
Yeah, it was.
Always make up your mind, guys.
It was put on the Wikipedia page for the True Mandalorians by someone, I don't know
Of
who.
course it was.
But
Yeah, of course it was.
that's where it spread. I think that's where also a lot of the Mandalores names come from. Like dini'la Mandalore, I'm pretty sure was a Wikipedia first before it became adopted into like source books and stuff.
Interesting.
Oh god, yeah. But what can you do? So what I wanted to get at when Anu remembered, rightfully so, that I forgot about the true Mando'ade thing, is our intro sentence. So let us just dissect what that one meant this week, and so you guys
Shoya, if you wouldn't mind doing the honors once more, reminding us of the intro sentence.
Ni hayc adat, shi gotal'ur jate'kara, or oyu'baat.
So, even with his intonation, you guys might already have a hint. But if you're not picked up on it now, Anu, would you be so kind and tell us what that all meant?
So that is the translation of Jango's famous line, "I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe." And so, yeah, what that actually means, if we go word by word here, ni hayc adat, I am a simple or honest man, plain person. She is just or only, and this is where it gets really interesting. And we had to discuss exactly how to translate this, because "make my way in the universe," yes, we could literally have said "make my way," but this is of course an idiom, and here we get back to translating meaning, not words. So what does it mean to make your way? That's basically to find your destiny, carve out your niche in the universe here. And so we translated this as gotal'ur jate'kara. And gotal'ur is the verb gotal'ur, which is to make or create. And jate'kara is luck or destiny. So it would literally say, I am a simple man just making my destiny, or oyu'baat, in the universe. So, hope you guys like that.
So, and now you also know about who we're gonna talk today. I mean, we kind of foreshadowed it in the last episode.
Yeah.
But, yeah. To be fully honest with you guys, we weren't sure if we would do just the next episode about him, but it just makes sense because we left off on kind of a cliffhanger with Chester and the true Mando'ade. So I would just go ahead and try to pick up where we left off, and also throw in some little informations that we purposefully left out before, because they were more Jango specific. So when we last left off, Chester had just died. Montross was leaving him behind. before we go ahead from that point, I just wanted to sprinkle some further information in when we have the situation that just as true Mandalorian will get ambushed on the on Concordia, the one that actually saved them after being saved by them is Jango, because the Kyr'am, the Death Watch, set a cornfield on fire there, and Jango knew a way out through an irrigation pipe, you would say. I think he already made himself useful there and showed them his ability to think quick, basically.
That was at the very beginning when Jaster first encountered Jango there.
Exactly.
And that, I suppose, played quite a role in him deciding to adopt him as a Mando'ade.
Absolutely. And one thing we also kind of left aside last episode, when they made it out that field, they go and basically, one could say, chase the Death Watch. Jango knows that there is only one town nearby where they could stock up on supplies, ammo, and food, rations, whatever. And he leads the true Mandalorians there. And they basically set an ambush in that town. Jango actually is the one that blows up Torvisla's tank or fighting vehicle, whatever that is, with a mine. Also gets into a hand-to-hand fight with Torvisla's second in command, which name I think we don't get to know, I think.
No.
Correct me, guys?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so, right? Yeah. But that's actually the first guy Jango kills in his life. And funnily enough, that guy just seconds before taunts him with enough playing soldier and tries to stab him. But Jango got to grab a blaster from the ground and just shoots him. In the comic, you actually can see that Jango is a little traumatized from that. And Chester comes up to him and is like, Jango, it's over now, but we have to go. And I just killed someone. So, yeah, feel better now? And he's so, I don't know. Yeah, then welcome to the Mando'ade. I think that's something that's kind of interesting, because he acknowledges that revenge probably doesn't make you feel better. And Jango kind of gives the right answer there. And after that, Chester is like, yeah, okay, if you don't find like joy in revenge, you're a good one. At least that's how I read it. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I think there's a lot you can read into it for sure, but that's, yeah, certainly it's pretty clear that Jaster is impressed with the way that Jango handled that encounter and the aftermath. So
yeah, so that's basically just what I wanted to catch up with you guys that haven't read the comics. As we told you already last time, if you have the ability to get by them, or maybe can find them online, definitely read them. They're just really chef's kiss. I just reread them for the episode to remember everything correctly, and they were a really short read. Yeah, so now we caught you guys up. Where we left that last time was quarter 6, right?
Yeah.
Jango had his first squad command. And one interesting fact that I just noticed with reading the comics again is that his armor set he wears there got the same colors as Boba later. Mm-hmm. So the question is, did Boba know about this? Did he tell him? Or is it just a nod from the artist?
Yeah.
Well, we do see Boba wearing those colors, and also he has the symbol of the Journeyman Protectors of Concordia on his chest.
That's true.
Which he kind of has the same history as Jaster Muriel in some cases, because he was Jaster Muriel at one point in the canon. But so he knows who Jaster is, and Jango kind of wanted him as, as Jaster's legacy. So I think he probably told him all about Jaster and the true Mandos and whatnot.
Yeah, I also guess so, and that's at least how I want to see it. So I just noticed that and thought it was cool to see, because that's also an thing that's interesting in the comics. Like Jango's armor color changes multiple times. We'll come back to this later. Remember this. As I said, Jaster's unfortunately deceased. Montross is falling back and is telling the rest of the true Mandalorians, "Yeah, Jaster's orders are still standing. Didn't you hear? We're pulling out here." The guys obviously ask, where's Jango? Yeah, Jango died trying to save Jaster. Tragic death. Can't do anything. What Montross didn't figure, Jango was quick on his feet and shows up before they take off and is like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And then they get not in a fight, but in an argument. And he tries to frame Jango again as a little boy that doesn't know what he's doing, whatever. And what he didn't expect is that the rest of the true Mandalorians actually side with Jango. And I don't know, like, that's strange. Where's Jaster? What are you doing? Why are you trying to undermine Jango? And they basically just banish him on the spot. Like, okay, you should better go, man. And if Mandalorians tell you to better go, you go. If you have any sense of self-preservation, right? So...
that has got to be, I didn't want to interrupt you, but that has got to be one of the voices for Montross of all time. Like,
fantastic.
That is absolutely, like, out of the blue, like, caught me so off guard. Because I've heard Montross's voice in the Bounty Hunter video game. I know what he sounds like, and it's not that.
Slipped into the Chakari register there.
yeah, I don't know, guys. That's just something I do when reading stuff. I tend to do voices.
Love it.
It was good.
So yeah, exactly. They banish Montross.
So he gets kicked out.
Yeah, you just get the F out, right? Shabla jate'kara, right? So then again, we have a little time jump. Next, we see Jango is probably, it's not exactly that, but we have like XYZ before Yavin. I think it's 15 before, if I remember correctly.
Actually, it in the Open Seasons comic, it uses the Battle of Geonosis as an epoch. And the next issue is 10 years prior to Geonosis. So this would be 32 BBY.
So yeah, it's about 15 before the Battle of Geonosis. And we see Jango probably in his 20s, as I say. We don't know exactly, but that would make sense in the continuity. And there is again there's a new mission for the true Mandalorians on Galidraan this time. They are called in to quell like civil unrest, to do counterinsurgency basically. And they make quick work of their opponents there. It's really no match for them. Didn't even know what hit them. Funny thing now is, as I said earlier, remember what I said about the armor? Now, Jango is wearing Jaster's colors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty, if you saw the first comic and saw Jaster's armor, it's really obvious this time. These are definitely Jaster's colors. The exact same color scheme, no doubt about it. So they get back from this mission and meet the governor of Galidraan. And actually, it turns out the payment for the mission that Jango wanted is only one thing. He wants the location of Tor Whistler. He got an axe to grind there. That's for sure. So he has an argument back and forth with the governor. So, hey, tell me where Whistler is, right? We had a deal. And all of the sudden, from the dark of the room, there burst some Death Watch members. One of them, you could have guessed it. It's a setup. It's a trap. It's Tor Whistler. It just says, I am here. So, funnily enough, Jango managed to escape, but when escaping, Whistler managed to hit his jetpack, so he goes down in the field. But one really badass thing that I quite liked is when he's bursting out the window with his jetpack, he yells at the governor, You just crossed the wrong man. So that was to what we brought up last episode with our 80s action reference.
Yeah.
I just love that one-liners. Like
Jango has some good one-liners.
fantastic one-liners. So, what the governor has been telling the Jedi actually is that the Mandalorians have been killing political activists, which he states is kind of true.
Just conveniently leaves out that he paid them to do it.
Yeah, but like, yeah, but Whistler is like, yeah, and children and women. And the governor is like, yeah, dude, no, we can't say that. There's no evidence for that. You can guess what Whistler says. Yeah, that's no problem. We'll create some in a second. For anyone sympathizing with the Death Watch there you have it again, okay?
Yeah, if you need to know
These
why,
are not just
you need to know
hardliners.
why we don't like the Death Watch. This gives you the reasons.
There are reasons, okay, guys? Yeah. As I said before, Jango had a malfunction in his jetpack, so he goes down. And that's really where it gets rough again, because he wants to warn his people in the camp about the Death Watch, right? But the Jedi kinda arrived there at the same time. And as I told you, they believe the Mandalorians have been committing war crimes basically there. So also kind of a fun fact. You guys can guess for a second before I tell you who leads that Jedi strike team.
I have the answer.
And yeah, you have the answer. So come, tell us.
The answer is Master Dooku.
Yeah, Darth Tyrannus himself.
Well,
not Darth
I don't know that
Tyrannus
he
at
is,
that point.
Yeah,
I know.
Yes.
But
he's there with a task force of some 12 Jedi, I think, and along with his Padawan, Komari
12.
Vosa.
So we come back to that in just a little bit, because that's actually how you would say, a significant emotional event for Dooku too.
Mm-hmm.
So Jango makes it just back to the camp, like minutes before the Jedi arrive. And Dooku is going like, yeah, okay, hand over your weapons and obey, and you will be tried fairly, basically, right? Yeah, you can guess what happens next. That doesn't go well with Jango. So he tells the guys to open fire. And, I mean, these are Mando'ade, right? So, I mean, there is probably no other group in the universe that's as well suited to killing Force users than Mandos will be. Or what you guys would say.
Yeah, that's certainly at this point in the canon as well. It's pretty much Mandos are the only ones that are really both equipped for and willing to go toe-to-toe with Jedi.
Yeah, not even Jedi, just also Sith, just Force users in general, I would say. So, like, Jango is no buffoon, so he pretty quickly figures out, so, okay, wait a second. Laser weapons don't work here. So, switch to projectiles and flamethrowers is his next order. And that's where it gets really, really rough. So, he witnesses in the hand-to-hand combat that breaks out there that his second in command and good friend Miles get finished off by a Jedi. And then he basically just goes in full send mode and goes into a blood frenzy, basically. And the next thing we see is him beating a Jedi to death with a stone. So if you ever had a question why Jango is the most badass canon Mando we have, at the end of this encounter, there are 6 Jedi still standing and 1 Mandalorian. And if I'm not mistaken, all of the Jedi death go on Jango's.
Yep, he killed them with his bare hands, as Duke later says.
Yeah, so there's that. That's basically the Galidraan incident that Anu already referred to last episode.
I
would be
still
fantastic
hoping to see
screen.
this somehow make it on screen. It would be perfect for a Tales of the Jedi episode. Let's do it, Dave. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's also the point what tipped Doku over to go to the dark side, because he looks at this bloodbath and is like, what have we done? Because Jango is on his knees there and weeping, of like, you killed them all. They're all gone. They're all gone. So he lost all his friends in just one fight.
His elite.
And it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to really bring that across with just telling you guys, but like in the comic book, with seeing the imagery to that, it really hits home. Before you guys get sick of just only hearing me talk, I think really we let Shoya take over from here.
Yeah, certainly. So after the Jedi arrest Jango, they take him over to the governor of Galidraan, and the governor takes his armor for himself and then sells Jango into slavery. He's, I believe, aboard a spice freighter or of some kind, operated by some, slavers, and he's there for a couple years. But eventually, I think it's pirates just raid the ship that he's on. He manages to get a hold of a blaster and shoot his, captor, and he escapes. Next thing you know, he's headed back to Galidraan to retrieve his armor from the governor, who's done a little bit. As you said, they were in the colors of Jaster, the black and the red, but the governor has refurbished it, as he says, something like that, to make it a very clean, pure, like no paint Beskar look with blue accents. Jango manages to recover that armor before they even know he's there. Even he's not just a fighter; he's very adept in all manner of actions like subterfuge and sneaking in, and anything a mercenary might ever need to do. Anyway, he gets in there and he demands to know where Vizsla went, who the governor, having no position to bargain, offers up already, like, just right away, that they're at, I believe it's Corellia. They're in Corellia, aboard.
They're headed to Corellia.
Headed to Corellia, right. Can't remember the name of Vizsla's ship, but Jango gets a fighter and he sets it on a course to crash with the ship's engines, and then he ejects himself and jetpacks through the bridge window straight into Tor Vizsla. They think he's a missile or something.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, fire myself as a projectile directly at you.
Surprise, Shakar.
Right.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but that's just one quote that I love to pieces from Rebels, and that just fits fantastic here.
Yeah.
Like when Ezra tells Sabine, we need more weapons. And Sabine is like, Ezra, a Mandalorian with a jetpack is a weapon.
Exactly. Yeah, he takes down his ship. It's going down, I think, or it's at least heavily damaged, and Vizsla orders an evacuation. But just as Vizsla's getting through a pod, Jango pounces on him, and they go down together to the planet's surface below, where they just keep on fighting. Like, the fight is like continuous, like from the ship in the pod down onto the planet, and they're just still fighting as they leave the pod. But yeah, the Vizsla manages to, well, actually, Jango manages to push Vizsla in a river. Vizsla grapple hooks his leg and pulls him in with him, and as Jango's recovering from the water, he stabs him in the back with a poison spike. And it's not enough to kill him, but it's enough to disorient him. But Jango, as I said, he's very astute, and he notices that they're being stalked by some dire cats. So what he does is he takes his gauntlet or his vambrace knife and slices open Vizsla's chest, just leaving in the smell of blood. The dire cats just pounce, and apparently the poison in his blood was, too stinky or something, that the dire cats wanted nothing to do with him. He passed out, and when he woke up, he was surrounded by some kids, and they ask what he's going to do next now that this guy's dead. And he says he's going to go get a job.
As you do.
Yeah, right.
And that basically is the segue into Jango's new life as a bounty hunter, instead of, acting as a mercenary, acting as the leader of the Mandalorians. He's now just a lone man.
Yeah. Just something I wanted to throw in there real quick, because it's just an interesting fact. Cats are actually really able to smell disease.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say, like, evolutionary.
Yeah.
That they are able to smell, like, when something's not right with meat. So I guess that's what the author wanted to imply with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just why they leave him be.
Yeah. Yeah. As we said, now he's just a man trying to make his way in the universe. With the Tor Vizsla and Death Watch are gone, I'm sure there are still some members of Death Watch around. They've gone into Baslan Shevla. That's strategic disappearance, probably, since their leaders died, until they might reappear later. Who knows, in the Clone Wars. But he doesn't have a people anymore. Like, the true Mandalorians were really the only Mandalorians you ever know. He could go to Mandalore and maybe find some other people, but they weren't the Mandalorians he knew. So he felt like his clan basically was gone. So he tried to build himself up as a bounty hunter, and he tried to get he wanted to be the best. Or maybe he didn't even want to be the best. He just is the best because of how methodical he is about everything he does. But yeah, next time we really see him, he's kind of operating out of this place called Outland Station, where he has there's a Toydarian there, Rosada. She goes by Roz for short, who kind of gets him bounties, basically, like a contract handler or whatever. He operates out of that station for a while until eventually he gets a contract from a man going by Tyrannus.
Who could that
be? The contract is... right, who knows?
Foreshadowing!
The contract is to hunt down the leader of a cult known as the Bandogora, who are a death stick cult, I believe. Or they're just a death cult. But turns out death sticks are a major part of that.
Basically a commune in Star Wars.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so basically, we don't need to talk about Kumari Vosa's lore. I could get into that too. She ends up as the leader of the Bandogora, and anyway, Tyrannus puts this bounty on her, and he sends it to a number of different mercenaries, the galaxy's best mercenaries, apparently, and that includes Jango and also his old pal Montross, who, wouldn't you know, is also operating as a bounty hunter in the same spheres as Jango. What is a chase from, like, tracking down death stick dealers on Coruscant to senators involved in their distribution on Coruscant as well, to Uvo 4, where he's tracking down a guy named Bendix Fust, who is connected with this death stick trade. But Uvo 4 happens to be a prison. So it's an asteroid with a shield around it that keeps the air in. But there's a prison built into it, and Jango goes there to get this bounty, to get some information. But turns out another bounty hunter's there who Jango will come to know quite well is Zam Wazell. And she's messing up the whole Bendix Fust operation, creating a riot, which ends up getting Jango's ship destroyed. Jango's ship is called Jaster's Legacy. And obviously, it was Jaster's ship. Jango renamed it to Jaster's Legacy. And it meant a lot to him, even though it was like not a very good ship. Roz was always telling him, you got to get a new one, but it had sentimental value. So he needs a new ship to escape the prison now. So that's when he comes to the hangar and finds that this prison has been supplied with a prototype patrol ship called a fire spray. And there's only 6 prototypes. He takes one, gets out of the prison, turns around, and blows them all up. So he's got the only one in existence. And he heads off, and he's led to Malastare, to Tatooine, to places to get more information about who's sending these death sticks, why are they, like, what's wrong with them, and who's like the suppliers and stuff. So long story short, so that leads him to Kolma, which is one of the moons of Bogdan, where the Bando Gora are headquartered, basically. He has to fight through like a army of like mind-controlled like slaves that the Bando Gora had captured and converted. And he runs into Montross, who's been sabotaging him along the way. He was capturing targets before Jango could get to him and killing them so he could get information, and fighting him directly. And then just here, he's on the hunt for Vosa as well. He just stops Jango like at the the doors to the palace and confronts him. Montross says, "May the best man win." And Jango says, "I am the best. Always was."
And hey, he won. So yeah, he was right.
And then he won.
Spoiler.
And he knocked the crap out of him. And as Montross was downed, and he was surrounded by these Bando Gora mind-controlled slaves that were trying to pull him apart, basically. And he was screaming to Jango to give him an honorable death, to shoot him, to kill him. Jango's like, he doesn't deserve it. So he just walks away.
Darmanda.
Yeah, he actually says that. He says,
"Oh, really?"
You're not. He doesn't say Darmanda. He says, earlier in the fight, he says, "You are no longer a Mandalorian," or like, "You gave up our ways."
Yeah.
So he doesn't treat him as a Mandalorian, basically, anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically Darmanda by definition.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw something in there that we glossed over because, we all know that, but the ship that Jango acquired is indeed the Slave
fire
One.
spray ship.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So
The fire spray ship, that's the Slave
he
One.
names it the Slave One. That's right.
And also what I heard in a other podcast that's in German that I really like, shout out to Data Crons at that point, is never occurred to me before. It's a wordplay.
Is it?
The Slave One.
I see.
What means that the slave won,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it never occurred to me before, but Jango was a slave and he won. So
I can see
slave
it.
won.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that probably might be really in there. And also just one more thing, hushing after that one, just because we used the word several times there, and that there is a word for that in Mando'a. Slave is mirsetat.
And that comes from the word for cage and person kind of mushed together there.
Right.
Interesting.
And also, cage and prisoner are basically the same word. Mirsin and mirsita.
Yep.
Yep. Jango goes on to find the leader, Kumari Vosa, who actually, in fact, finds him. He gets captured and, strung up by the Bando Gora, and Kumari is kind of messing with him for a while. But Zamwazel, who has been working with Jango ever since they escaped Uvo 4 together, helps Jango get free, get his weapons to start fighting the Dark Jedi, who Kumari Vosa, she was the the Padawan of Dooku at Galidraan, who was the loudmouth who Jango said to kill first.
Yeah, right. Okay, I didn't mention that, but that's actually funny.
She was kind of instigator of really riling up the Jedi.
Yeah, hand over your weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And Jango goes like, okay, kill the loudmouth first.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So Zam rescues him, gets him his weapons, he hunts her down, and now, she's got lightsabers and stuff, and the Force, so she's definitely a challenge for him, but Jango manages to get her in the end. And Vosa's dying here, and she's like, which will it be, dead or alive? And Jango, he lowers his pistol, but as it turns out, from the shadows, Tyrannus emerges and chokes Vosa to death. And offers Jango his payment of 5 million for finding his quarry.
No small price.
And Jango's confused. He's like, if you could have done it, why make the bounty? And he says, well, to find you. You could have 5 million credits, or you could have that and so much more if you come to Camino to be cloned. Jango is, he's like whatever about it. But the one thing he stipulates is he wants one clone for himself. That's how Bounty Hunter treats the deal. But you can also think of it as Dooku inviting Jango to further discuss these terms later at his palace. And that's what we see in the Open Seasons comic at the end, if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, that's how it handles in the Open Seasons.
Yeah.
And that's also quite interesting, right?
Yeah, it is. He goes back to his palace and they have a kind of an interesting, little interaction there where neither of them trust each other. They put their weapons at the opposite end of the table, but Jango pulls his guns to him using magnets. And that's not the only trick he had up his sleeve. He also released a plague from his suit that he was immune to, having experienced it as a child on Concordia, but it infected Dooku. And so he had him he had a place in the negotiations, he felt, basically, because he had the antidote in his ship, and if he kills him, it will blow up. So he was there to negotiate, but eventually, like I said, he gets his 5 million, and he gets the first clone for himself, unmodified, which is something that Roz was harping on for a long time during his bounty hunting days, was he needs to find something to live for other than the money. He needs to, move on from Jaster's demise and think about his legacy instead. And yeah, that basically leads you up to, his deal with when he goes to Camino, which I'm sure you want to save for, another episode about the clones and the Cuivaldar and whatnot.
Yep.
Exactly. Just to rehash this real quick, we're in the territory of the prequels now, basically. You know what happens from there on. Just to mention it here, what doesn't really come over in the prequels is that Jango actually also trains clones, and not just any clones, the zero arcs, basically, right?
The nulls and the arcs.
So the first, so the clone commandos, and as Shoya guessed right, we gonna do an episode at some point about that and the Cuivaldar. So that's the thing. I can just spoiler here for a second. There's a group of 100 individuals that trains the clones, of which 75 are actually Mandalorian. But more of that later, or in the adjacent episode, basically. So you all know what happens then. We get Geonosis, and Jango dies, unfortunately, from a jetpack malfunction, basically. That's what I think that's also something that a lot of people are aware of, right?
It is that's very common Mando death.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Yeah, no, there's actually a social society in the Mandomercs about this. It's so hilarious, I think. That's Magic, MAJIC. Mandalorians against jetpacks in combat. And I quite love this. There's also one contra that, pro jetpack, that's Mandalorians against boot erosion by leaping. So yeah, that's really a meme in the community there. But yeah, that's I think where our lore part kind of ends for the day. But don't worry, we have more to discuss. We have, of course, as always, our word of the week. Word of the week. And our word of the week this week is actually Beroya, which means Anu?
Bounty Hunter, which, as we all know, Jango was the best. Beroya.
Yeah, of course he was. So, and also, we brought you guys some new grammar here. or we will be bringing you guys some new grammar, sorry. And that is a prefix we already spoke just a teeny tiny bit in our holiday episode
That's
about.
right. That's right. So, something to tie in with the story of Jango and really of Jaster as well. There's a lot of ambushes and traps and bait and switch that goes on in this whole story and this drama here between the true Mandalorians, Jaster, Jango, and the Death Watch. And so, if you would like to know how to say that, the word for bait in Mando'a is jate'kara, and that prefix there, j, which I think we actually mentioned that word previously in that other episode, that
Yeah, because it got gone in there with the whole holiday theme
yep,
with food
exactly.
and drink.
That prefix there, the j prefix, is kind of means like false or fake, and so kai is food, jate'kara is like false food, or it's bait. It's food that you think is food, but no, it's jate'kara, it's bait. Get the gif in there of the Mad Max. That's bait. And yeah, so there are quite a few words in Mando'a with this prefix, and all of them kind of have this idea of deception or trickery. Where you've got hat for truth, hat for lie or untruth. Nari is like action, and so you've got jate'kara for to feint, to fake an action, basically. Yeah, there's several of them. Just if you want to check it out, go through the dictionary, switch it to the Mando'a search, and type in JE, and you will see the ones that are in there. It's an interesting one to play with. It's probably not necessarily productive. So you can't just go sticking it on words willy-nilly and expecting it to make sense. But if you kind of want to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit sarcastic with something, it doesn't hurt to play around with it every now and then and tack that on there, even though it might not.
It makes sense. Like they're misleading, right? Or it's kind of about misleading, and it appears in the word JT.
Yeah.
The Jedites who are
I
always
just wanted
lying.
to say that.
Maybe an accident, maybe
I mean,
not.
you could maybe on purpose. The Shabla Jetis. As always, we forgot to pre-sketch some homework.
Yeah, of course. Homework.
Dikute that we are.
Nobody likes homework, even us. Honestly, I would say the homework this time really needs to be go out there and read the Open Seasons comic. Find a way, because it's just too good, and it's pretty short and sweet, and it really gets you into the lore in a deeper way. And even though we've really gone over it in pretty decent detail here in this and the previous episode, you just gotta see it. Like the pictures, the artwork, it's so well done, and it's
fantastic.
Just
it would
go
make
do
a great animated 4-episode run miniseries.
Yeah. I mean,
Just saying.
I would watch it. Absolutely, I would spend money on it.
Definitely.
Disney, if you're listening.
Yeah, dude. Hard credits.
Yeah, let's see it.
Like, come on.
So yeah, that's all I've got. So unless somebody else has something.
What I wanted to say, what you could like treat as homework, or just do it anyways. We really need to know from you guys what you want to hear. Do you like this deep dives into the lore, into the expanded universe? Do you want other topics covered? Just please don't be shy and write us a comment which topics you'd be interested in.
And as always, big shout out to everyone who did their best writing comments in Mando'a. Keep it up. The more you practice, the better you get. It was awesome to see all of those comments.
Yeah, definitely. I was really taken by surprise how many we got this time, and be rest assured we at least will reply in text to the ones we didn't mention.
Right.
So, and of course, another homework is definitely follow Shoya.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Go check out
Homework.
Shoya's
Go watch
channel.
my videos.
Yes. Absolutely.
Some of them are better than others, I will admit.
It was excellent having our first guest star. It was quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know if
It was quite fun.
you want me back.
I'm sure it'll happen again.
Yes, sir.
But as with everything in the life of a Mando'ade, the future is not certain, so we can only say returshimi.
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 Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Mando'a